Alright guys, hello, welcome to the web class. My name is Zeta Lasfa. A very warm welcome to everyone that's joined, everyone that's watching this video. And I'm going to make this as quick as possible and to the point as possible. I'd never like any training or courses that just give you too much information that's not useful. I'm a very short attention span type guy. And so, I empathize if you're the same. I like to just get straight to the point. So this web class today is called How to Achieve NoFap Superpowers Every Day, Destroy Flatline, and the Truth Behind Success. This is a new life for you guys. It's possible. I know you've tasted the days where you felt the superpowers from NoFap. I know you've had those days and enjoyed those benefits, and some of the benefits listed below is what is available to us if we just withstrain from PMO. Better emotional health, improved emotional stability, reduced anger, love for life. Yeah, you guys all know this. You've been on the journey. We're all on this journey together, and you've tasted those days. So I'm here to explain how to have more of those days, change your life, and I just want you to know that, let's make this full screen. What this web class is not is any superficial tips, guys. This is not going to be anything go take a cold shower, wake up early, do exercise, drink more water. There's a thousand personal development tips out there. But that's not anything like this. This is actually much more deeper than that. And if you look at psychology, some people just don't have the ability to do simple things like take a cold shower or exercise. Kudos to people that are, but I'm not one of those guys. And for years I've been doing NoFap I started 4 years ago, and I felt so much, and I read all the advice, and I just couldn't understand why I kept failing, and how other people were succeeding, and how it was changing other people's lives, but it wasn't changing mine. And it's actually much deeper than that. So guys, can we just all agree on this, that human beings, we are a vibration of atoms? Anyone who's into science will know this. Knows that the structure of the universe, the metaphysical realm, is that we're all made out of atoms, and those atoms and elements, they are vibrating. They're sending electronic signals, and that's basically what we are. We're actually just empty space and just vibrating atoms. When you smoke some weed, if you guys ever smoked some weed when you were younger and had those scientific what's the purpose of life conversations, you all know this, or if you're into science. And so continuing that thought, emotion is just energy in motion. That's what emotion stands for. Some of the leading self-improvement people have suggested this fact, and I believe they're right. And this guy Robert Kiyosaki, a real estate investor, he said this. He said, the world is just emotion, and it stands for energy in motion, and that what you think creates emotion, and that creates energy. And I think Tony Robbins does the same as well. He talks about thinking and kinesthetic energy in your body energy, and how to have a deep voice, etc. But it's not anything about that. The reason I bring this up, because I would deeply think like, why am I not succeeding at NoFap? Like, why is this not working for me? And I'd have a look at my days, and when I was younger, my days were just chaos. It was just out of control. I would wake up, I would want to be a better person, but I'd wake up, and then I had a smoking addiction, so I would have to have my first cigarette. I'd smoke my first cigarette, I'd feel a bit bummed out about the day, I'd drink some coffee, I'd feel a bit better, and I'd feel bummed out again. And then, you know, when I was younger, I was really young, I used to smoke a lot of weed. So I'd smoke some weed if it was my day off, eat a pizza. And this is like a usual day for someone who's completely lost, who's just a slave to their emotion, and their life's just chaos. And you know, that's the sad thing, is some of these guys, they do nofap, and they do all this. They smoke, they drink coffee, they eat pizza, and they think like, why isn't nofap working for me? It's because, you know, your brain's a mess. It's getting the dopamine hit, and of course, if it's going up, naturally it's going to come down, and you're going to feel like shit, and it's just going to be a roller coaster of emotions. So, you know, once I looked at my day, I started reading up more about Eastern philosophy and spirituality. And I started to realize that, you know, if we're all atoms vibrating at a certain frequency, certainly that we're operating at a beta frequency. Have you ever looked at the frequency of a beta wave? It's actually high peaks, high troughs, and that's what I felt like. My life was just so anxious, and I was just operating at an anxious level, and I was just always worried about the future. And if I had any social interactions with anyone, I would just start getting nervous. You know, when I was really younger, I used to get so nervous, or even just the thought of asking a girl out when I was young, really young, 18 to 22. I would start sweating. I'd almost get overwhelmed and have a panic attack. So, you know, I was operating at this frequency, and I realized that, and you know, it's just this frequency is just dictated by your need for dopamine. And you know, it's frustrating life. I never felt like I had any control over myself or my own destiny. And you know, what you guys want is that you want to be alpha. You want to be alpha male. You want to be at an alpha vibration. And you know, just look at these peaks and troughs. They're a lot smoother. They're a lot calmer. And that has a positive feedback loop on your entire life. So these emotions that you're setting for yourself, and this vibration, this is what allows you to you know, go into conversations, have natural flowing conversations, have a natural charisma about you, and have a way to crush goals and crush life. So guys, you know, you want to operate at an alpha level. You know, most people, they understand that this is you now, and this is nofap, and this is success for you. This is what I'm saying. Like everyone, a lot of people in the nofap community, they think it's just nofap. I just got to do nofap, and I'm gonna have the superpowers. I'm gonna be great. But it's not like that. It's actually much more than that. It's actually, in fact, that you have to remove all dopamine addictions. You have to get rid of everything, and then you will be reborn into a new person that has the natural charisma and has more focus and learning. And then, you know, with that focus and learning, you can go out, create businesses, crush goals, achieve stuff in your life, and, you know, with that charisma, hopefully be able to succeed in sexual and intimate relationships, or even find a girlfriend or whatever. So that's what this web class is about. You know, the thing is, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy having to get rid of all addictions. So I've broken this into 3 parts, guys. The first part is secret number 1, how to succeed at nofap. Quit all addictions, change your life. And this is a big plus. This secret is a big plus because, guys, you're talking to a guy who has very little low power. I had very, very low willpower when I was young. I could not, for the life of me, break free for many years. And even to this day, I still like gratification. I still like dopamine. You know, I quit cigarettes, but, you know, even with just eating, even just sometimes I will want a sneaky chocolate or coffee. I still fight myself to this day because that's how deep my love for dopamine is. So you're talking to a guy who was very weak, but who learned how to overcome himself. And secret number 2, just do this one thing and you complete the nofap 90 days on the first go. Just this one thing that I'm going to tell you will help you, guaranteed. And eventually you will succeed at those 90 days. And I think a lot of you guys will succeed on the first go. Secret number 3, guys, how to find love in a world full of narcissistic, ego gratification, addicted women. I don't like to be mean to the opposite sex. I used to have a lot of red pill rage in my youth. Now I've overcome that, but the sad truth is, the black pill is that a lot of women are addicted to ego gratification, and you can see it when you walk out on the street. You can see it on TikTok, you can see it on Instagram. They've completely turned, the good majority of them turned narcissistic, and this secret is going to help you find and filter through those people, and without trying too much, using your superpower, new nofap superpower, attractiveness, you'll be able to go out there and find love naturally and to a normal woman. And yeah, that's it, guys. Let's get started. I don't want to take too much of your time. So, secret number 1, the power to quit when you don't have the willpower. Now, before I get started, I do just want to say that, when I was young, I was a very motivated guy. I don't know if you're the same, but I had big dreams, big ambitions. I wanted to be a big deal. I just wanted to be a boss, a player, alpha male, winner, alpha male, the boss man, cool guy, right? Wore a suit, everybody loved him, had lots of girlfriends. I was greedy. I was so greedy, I wanted it all. And, the thing is, I had like a strong desire in my heart, like to be something great. And just be that person. But I didn't know what that was. I really didn't know what that desire was. I searched all my life. I thought it was fame, money, women, change the world. I thought maybe change the world. Is that what it is? That I want to have a statue. I want to have a legacy. And I kept searching and searching. It wasn't any of that. Even when I went throughout my 20s, I realized it wasn't any of that. And I actually came across Friedrich Nietzsche, and I started reading up about him, and he talked about something called the will to power. Now, guys, anyone who doesn't know Friedrich Nietzsche, I invite you to read his work. But in summary, what Friedrich Nietzsche talks about is that the world has an underlying force called the will to power. In fact, in every heart is an insatiable desire in man to manifest power. The philosopher before him, he was influenced by Arthur Schopenhauer, who said that the point of our existence is to live, the will to live, that we're all here to survive and live. But Nietzsche actually changed that to propose that actually that desire in your heart is the will to power. And that resonated for me. I realized that why did I have this? I had this desire in my heart my whole life to be something great, and I could never get rid of it. And Friedrich Nietzsche goes on to say that, I'll teach you the overman. A man is something that should be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? Guys, do you feel the same? Do you feel like you're not just a human being, but you are actually a human becoming? Like you have the vision of what you want to become. You want to be that person, and but it's just difficult. You're just a slave to your emotion, and you can't quit. Because I was the same. I had many addictions. I had smoking, video games, fapping. When I was younger, fapping was a huge problem for me. Porn. Every day I used to watch porn. Marijuana. I was very addicted at one stage. Sugary food, McDonald's, chocolate. And even one bad addiction I used to have is wasting money on get-rich schemes. I used to spend thousands of dollars on these get rich webinars or e-commerce or online marketing webinars, and I used to get nowhere with them. It was a waste of money, and it was all because I just trying to find answers on how to be this person. And it just resulted in no focus, no willpower, no motivation, no attraction to the opposite sex. I was completely unattractive to the opposite sex. I would just go out and get rejected and accept the rejections. I would accept the rejections and be like, yeah, well, of course I'm a loser. I would have such bad negative self-talk. I would be like, of course they hate me. I know I'm a loser. And I had no greatness at all about me. And yeah, the worst bit is just not being attractive. That's the most painful bit. Is that pain is just when the women and the world tells you you're not attractive, and you know it, it's painful. Yeah, and I was just terrible at life. I don't know why I have so many of these slides. We get it, Zaid. You're bad at life. And the worst bit is what I realize is that the pain that you get from all of this, the pain of not being able to control your life, the pain you get from people calling you a loser, getting rejected, actually makes you more addicted to the pleasure. Like what you do is you use the pain, you use the pleasure to escape the pain from your painful life. So life actually just becomes a downward spiral where you're just a slave to your desires, because what happens is you go out in the world, you accumulate pain, you use pleasures to escape the pain, and then you feel more pain because you're not the person you want to be, and it's just a negative feedback loop. And sorry guys, not very good at this PowerPoint. And I just felt like I was in quicksand my whole life. I would just be like trying to swim out. I'd try to be great. I'd make a timetable. I'd watch a web class. I'd read Tony Robbins, and I'd try, but then I'd fail, and the world would hate me. And then I'd smoke cigarettes and drown myself with pleasure, and hate myself even more. But then try harder, and then fail harder. And I just felt like no matter how hard I tried, I just kept sinking further and further in. And that was a bad life. That was really, it was just I just would just get bashed by life. I don't know, I feel for you guys if you're still in the same boat. I'm telling you, I can resonate with you. It's a very humiliating life. And and it's weird because I live in this first world country, and I know a lot of you guys do, and I've been traveling to other countries, and it's like, why am I sad? Like, I have everything. I have food, shelter, a nice computer, air conditioning, a nice couch to relax on, pizza. Why am I sad? Why do I not feel content? You go to these third world countries and they're happier than you. They're more simpler. They're more happy. And it's like, what is this feeling? Why am I depressed? At one point I just felt like I had just absolutely no control over myself and my destiny. And I just gave up. I was like, that's it, life's meaningless, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, I had complete nihilism, complete apathy. I had a lack of interest in everything. I just didn't want to try anymore. I was in full depression mode. I would just I would just wake up, eat ice cream for breakfast, wouldn't give a shit. I didn't brush my hair. I wore the same smelly clothes. I scraped through work. I don't even know how I got through it. I was just in full don't give a shit mode, and it was kind of great. It was kind of freeing, because even though sometimes before I would eat ice cream for breakfast, I would feel guilty, but this time I did not feel guilty. I just felt like, whatever, I'm just going to be a loser, and I accept. And at the time I was working as like a street fundraiser, and I know you guys hate these people, but they have the worst job. And this was the only job I could get. I'd failed businesses, I'd failed at my life. I was like 28, a failure, and I was doing some loser job on the street, I was trying to raise money for charity. But the good thing about this job was that even though I was depressed, like, the charity job was healthy for my mindset in a way, like, because it would remind me why I should be grateful. Like, I'd read about people that have cancer, and I'd be raising funds for like people that have cancer, or people that have worse situations than me, and it would be so helpful for me to read that and to actually get through my depression. But one day at work, I'm like working, and every day I hate my life. I'm depressed. I try and do this charity job. I'm bad at it. Like, I just scraping through. Like, I don't even know how I get through each day. Like, I'm supposed to, with the charity job, I don't actually convince people to donate. All I'm doing is getting people to sign a petition. So with the job I was doing, I was standing on the street trying to get people to sign a petition. I'd have to get like 25 petitions a day. And the thing about this job is that if you don't get 25 petitions a day, you are maybe fired. If you're not fired today, tomorrow, if you have a bad day, you're fired. That's it. They're very ruthless. Like, they're just churning through employees. They don't give a shit. And I'm just going through this day like, maybe this is the day I get fired. I don't know. Like, what's the point of my life? I'm gonna be homeless soon. And yeah. So anyway, I'm standing on the street. I'm depressed. This guy comes up to me. I never forget him. He comes up to me. He actually runs over to me. I don't like. Usually I approach people, but this guy, he runs up to me, and he's like, "I'll sign your petition." I was like, "Okay." But one thing I noticed about him was half his face was missing. Yeah, this guy, he did not look normal. Half his face was missing. Like, his cheekbones was gone. There was something. He had like an eye patch, and I was like taken back. And I'm not one to hurt anyone's feelings, but I just politely asked him, like, "Man, what's your story? Like, what happened to you, if you don't mind me asking?" And this man, he got really serious, and he just told me that, his whole life story. Like, he used to be a successful guy. He worked in a bank. He worked in one of the largest banks in Australia. I'm from Australia, by the way. Yeah, he worked in one of the largest banks in Australia. He was super successful. He had a great salary. He had a beautiful wife. He had a nice house. He had everything. This guy, he had everything. Everything. And, one day he just wakes up and he starts coughing up blood. And, shockingly, he goes to the doctor to get checked up on, and the doctor does analysis on him and tells him that he has brain cancer, that he's going to die in the next month. And, his life changed completely from then on. He lost everything. He lost his house. He lost his wife. His wife left him. He lost his job in the end. He ended up moving back into his mum's house. And this man, he was just waiting to die. And, sadly, he was so sad. He was so desperate not to die that he just turned to God and really prayed and really asked God to help him. And ever since then, he experienced the miracle of God. And, he lived, and the doctor did surgery on him, and he lived. And, he realized from then on that, the way he was living was he was a bad guy. He was very greedy. He never used to give to charity. He never used to be happy. He had a really bad character. And ever since then, he runs to charity, guys. So that's how I met him. And I don't know, I was just so like taken back by that story. It really, the way he's helped. I know I'm not delivering it as well as he did, but the way he told me, it really made an impact on me. Anyway, so a couple of days later, I'm like sitting at Subway. I like to sit at Subway. That's my favorite place to have lunch while I'm working. I take a break, and I have the sub of the day, which is $5 and affordable. And it's so creepy because only a couple of days later this happened. Like, I'm sitting at Subway, I'm eating my sandwich, and a guy comes up to me and puts a flyer on my table, and it says, "Have you met Jesus?" And I was just like, oh, that's so weird. Like, I was still thinking about this guy I just met and how he's talking about, like, God saved him and Jesus saved him. And I just felt like, how strange is this that I'm witnessing this flyer. Anyway, I ignored it. But then a couple of days after that, I'm working on the street as a fundraiser, and the thing about my job is that sometimes people are nice and they sign the petition, and you have a great day. And you're like, oh, you have faith in humanity, and you're like, man, people are nice. But then some days, like, everyone is just a jerk, and that was that day. Like, everyone was just a jerk. It was just like anyone's like, sign my petition. People were like, fuck off. And you're like, damn. I was just getting rejected and rejected and rejected. And this day I remember being unusually people reject you, but this was unusual rejection. This was like nearly everyone was rejecting me. And I was just like, man, I'm depressed. But strangely, there was like a group of people, just random people that were just like, they were very young and they were very happy and smiley, and they just had something about them that they're just like, you would talk to them and you'd be like, hi, and they'd be like, hello, like they would be so happy to talk to you. And yeah, so I meet these people, and they're so happy, they're so nice, and their etiquette is so lovely. And I'm like, what's the deal with you guys? Like, why are these group of young people so nice and so lovely to talk to? And they told me that they go to this church. It's called like Hillsong Church, and it's just around the corner. And they attend this college. And one of them, they invited me to go. And I just, something about that just made me want to go. I just had to find out, like, what was it about? Like, why were these people so nice? And I just feel like I gotta go to this church. I gotta see what it's about. And then when I went there on like a Sunday night, and it was just shocking. Like, everyone was just so friendly. Everyone was just so warm. The pastor goes up. He does this amazing speech about like surrendering to God. Man, I can't describe it. Like, everyone was so nice. Like, even when you get there, like, people realize that you're new, and then they introduce you to their friends, and everybody's happy to see you, and everybody's smiling. And I know I tell this to some people, like I would tell some of my friends, and they'd be like, oh, sounds like a cult, but it's hard to describe. It was just felt so good being there. And by the end, after the speeches, and by the end, I walked away from that church. So I remember that night, I just sat on the street corner, and I was just crying. Like, I was just crying and crying, and I just felt like, I felt free. Like, I felt like I found God, and I found something to help me. Like, something just lifted all the depression from my life. I can't describe this to you guys. I know if you haven't experienced it, you may be skeptical, but I wish I could give you my eyes, and I could just let you see through my eyes and let you feel how I used to feel and how I felt after going to that church. Undescribable, really undescribable. I felt a lot freer, and I felt like my life just changed instantly. So guys, the purpose of this web class, you're probably realizing by now, this is not a self-development, self-help web class. In fact, I hate self-help. I don't believe in self-help. I spent many years reading self-help and paying for courses, and they never helped me. They never did anything for me. All the advice was very superficial, and this is not self-help, this is God help. This is the exact methodology you need to do in order to get God's help to help you succeed at life and start succeeding at things that you want. And I want to challenge anyone that still believes in self-help. Like, how can you help yourself, really? Like, if you have low willpower, granted, some people have high willpower, and you tell them to write a timetable every day, and they do it, and it helps them. Good for them. But if you have low willpower like me, how can you help yourself? If you have terrible self-sabotage, self-destruction, self-destructive habits, how can you help yourself? You can't. You know, you need something higher and more powerful and bigger than you, more universal to help you. So, you know, all self-help is, I realize, is just people with high willpower and unresolved ego complexes trying to teach superficial methods to success. And actually, success is actually much deeper than that, guys. And that's why you see those self-help guys. They drive in Lamborghinis, and and they buy huge houses because they have an unresolved ego complex. They want to be like, look at me, look at the Lambo I have. Please love me, because my mom and dad didn't love me, so I need your love because I have a Lamborghini now. So that's all. Those people are sick, and really, it's they don't help you. They only help themselves, and only God can help you guys. And you know, the thing about high willpower versus low willpower is that, you know, one of my favorite philosophers, Kierkegaard, he said the despairing man is unconscious of being in despair, in comparison with him who is conscious of it, merely a negative step further from the truth. So what he says is that that we all have despair in our lives. Whether you have willpower, low willpower, whether you're rich or poor, everybody lives with a certain despair. But the person that is completely unsuccessful at life and is just weak and can't do anything to help himself, he is more conscious of his despair, and so in fact he is closer to the truth. But the person that, you know, he has a Lamborghini, he has some success in life, he has money, he is more unconscious of being in despair because he has more dopamine, he has more things to make him unconscious of his despair, and so he is a negative step further from the truth. So really, you know, the thing is, you know, an individual in despair, like the thing is, like I think it's not just being weak. It's not just being a weak guy, but it's also wanting greatness. Like, you know, when I was a young guy, I used to have like a either Caesar or nothing attitude. I used to have that attitude. I thought, you know, I want everything. I want to be rich, have lots of hot girlfriend models, or nothing. I want nothing. I'm not happy with a simple life. And you know, that destructive mindset, it actually destroys you because you end up getting nothing, especially if you're not strong enough to go get things on your own in life. So, you know, consequently, he does not despair because he does not get to be Caesar, but despairs over himself because he did not get to be Caesar. So, you know, that pain of not being the person you want to be, it actually brings you closer to more conscious and closer to this truth. And so, you know, realize that, you know, we're lucky to be people of low willpower, you know, that because, you know, we are closer to understanding the truth and we're more conscious than the people that are unconscious and distracting themselves with gratification. And yeah, and you know, that's a couple of years ago I met my dad, and you know, it really solidified some thoughts in my mind. I finally had like some closure because my dad, I never knew my dad for 22 years. You know, the thing about my dad was that he was another guy that was just heavily addicted to his emotions, and you know, he loved women, chasing women. He just chased women, money, and you know, that's the reason why he had problems with the marriage with my mom, because you know, he couldn't, both parties just couldn't be not slaves to their own emotions. And you know, I think that's the same for a lot of us, you know. Like the saying is, hard times create strong men, but strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. You know, you got to realize that a lot of our fathers were born in the 70s, the 60s. They went through the 80s, 90s. These were the good times. These were good economically. It was easy to get a job. It was easy to find love, to have a girlfriend. You know, the women weren't so narcissistic, egotistical. You know, the economy was great. It was easy to buy a house. These were good times for them. But it also created weak men. You know, they were less conscious of themselves and more unconscious. And because our fathers were weak, they created hard times for us. And, you know, and because a lot of them, they didn't father their daughters properly, and that's why we're dealing with, you know, terrible women that we have to date now. So they create hard times for us. But, you know, the thing about this is that it's not that hard times create strong men. I believe that's false. Hard times don't create strong men. I actually believe that hard times lead you to God, and God makes you strong. So, you know, it made me realize that, you know, if God loves you, what he does is that he destroys your will. He gives you depression in order to completely destroy your will, in order to become a slave to him and rely on him and ask for his help. And so, going back to Friedrich Nietzsche, you know, the universe is, the point of existence is not the will. I don't believe it's the will to power. I don't believe we all have an insatiable desire to manifest power, but in fact, the point of our existence is the will to God, and that the universe is a manifestation of an underlying force called the will to God, and it is basically an underlying essence of the universe and an insatiable desire in your heart to manifest God's power. So, guys, that's it. You have to manifest. If you want to achieve anything in your life, you have to, and overcome yourself, you have to find the will to God and manifest God's power in order to do that. And God's power is infinite. Once you have God on your side, once you believe in God and have God on your side, really you can do anything. And this is the exact methodology to do that. Secret number 2, just do this one thing and you'll succeed. Just do this one thing. Guaranteed you'll succeed. You know, the thing about, going off topic for a second, the thing about human beings is that we're often forgetful. You know, in Arabic, the word for human is actually insan. And the word insan is derived from the Arabic word ninsan, which means to forget. And, you know, that's completely accurate, isn't it? Like, haven't you noticed that anything that you desire, once you obtain it, you forget? Like, for me, like, just think about anything that you wanted. Car, a girl, a house. You know, for me, it was like having a nice PC, having a high-end PC. You know, I used to look at all the different parts, NVIDIA, AMD, what processor I'm going to get, what heating cooler. I would spend days researching my build, and then I would buy the parts, build my computer, and the first day I would be like staring at my computer. I would be in love with it. And then after a month I would be like, whatever. I don't give a shit. I look at the new stuff. What's new coming out? I feel depressed because there's new graphics cards, and now my graphics card's old. So, you know, the thing is that we forget a lot. We want something, we desire, we want, and then we have it, and then we forget about how much we wanted it. And you know, if you know, the thing is, like, if you ever read, I came across Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and this is a great quote, not only for if you're participating in a in a medieval battle. Maybe that's part of your life, I don't know. But you know, if you know the enemy, and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. So this applies to your actual life, like your actual inner world. Like, you are in battle with yourself. You're trying to overcome yourself. So, you know, if you know the enemy and you know yourself, guys, if you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. And, you know, the thing is that you have to know that you're a forgetful person. And the thing about that is that even if you know your weakness, like, let's say you know your weaknesses, right? Let's say you know, like, okay, my weakness is that I love McDonald's, and my weakness is that I wake up and I look at my phone and I start playing mobile games, right? Let's say that's your weakness. The thing is, the ultimate weakness is that you're forgetful and that you won't even remember your weaknesses. You know, like it's such a trip. It's like even if you try to overcome yourself and realize your weaknesses, your ultimate weakness is that you forget. You just forget your weaknesses and then go back into this unconscious realm. So, you know, the thing about, you know, going back to, I never finished my story of meeting my dad. So I met my dad like a couple of years ago, and you know, when I met him, I was actually doing well in life. Like I'd started going to church. I was a Christian at the time. I was going to church. I felt like God was helping me. I was going to the gym. I had my job. My job was doing all right. So I started to do a job that I liked, making some money. You know, I was talking to girls. You can see I was physically in shape. I was doing all right in my life. And then I met my dad, and then, you know, my dad was like, oh, you know, come live with me, come work with me, come live with me. And I was like, alright, why not? So I started living with my dad, and you know, unfortunately, you know, the thing about life is that, you know, if you live with someone who has bad habits, their bad habits end up coming back to you. So, you know, recently what happened, I was actually just quite recent, at the beginning of this year, you know, our business had stopped because of coronavirus, and, you know, we weren't working anymore. And, you know, my dad was a bit depressed, and, you know, he started eating delicious food and smoking, and then so did I. And then suddenly, you know, I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, and I fully just went back into gratification. You know, I was playing video games every day. I was eating chocolate ice cream. I was looking at thoughts on Instagram. But, you know, even though I'd surrendered to God and praying, like, even though I was praying to God, like, I was praying, I was like, please, God, help me. I was still addicted to all this shit, and I was just like, what do I do? I'm asking God to help me, but He's not helping me. And, you know, one day my mom rings, and my mom's like, blah, 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 you have to try it, life, like, you're gonna be a loser, what are you doing? Like, you don't have any money, you don't have a job anymore, like, you know, like, do something with your life. And I was like, no, it's all God's will. God put me in this situation. And my mom was like, no, it's not, you have to try. And then I was just like, what is it? Like, is it God's will, or do you have to try? Like, what is it? Like, can I just surrender to God and God will help me? Or do I have to go out there and use my own willpower and try and be successful at life? And I was just like, what? I just don't get it. Like, I was even asking God, like, please give me an answer. I don't understand. What do you want from me? Like, I'm too weak to go out and do shit in my life. Too weak, depressed. And, you know, you put me in this hard situation. Help me out. You should be able to help me. You're God. You have powers. You should be able to help me out. But anyway, I started reading some of the Quran. You know, I grew up in a Muslim household, so, you know, I went from being born Muslim to being a scientist. I was a scientist in university. I believed in science. So I was a scientist, atheist. I went from Muslim, atheist, and then I went from that to Christian, and then I went back to Muslim. And so I was reading the Quran, and I realized, you know, I was really desperate. I was asking God for help. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I was reading in this piece of the Quran. It was so coincidental that I read this piece too, because I just finished praying and asking God to help me have some wisdom and answers. And it says, you know, those who are believed, you know, proceed to the remembrance of God and leave trade. That is better for you if you only knew. And when the prayer is concluded, disperse into the land and seek from the bounty of Allah. Allah is the Muslim name for God, if you guys don't know. I remember Allah often so that you may succeed. And then I realized, like, that was the answer. Like, the thing is, guys, like, all you got to do is remember God. You only have to remember Him and then go out into the land and try. But the main thing is to remember God often so that you may succeed. And, you know, in Christianity, they say the same thing. Like, they say, you know, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. It's 100% true. You know, when you're unconscious, when you're not thinking, that's when the devil enters your mind. and makes you lean towards addictions and gratification, and tries to destroy your life. So remember God often so that you may succeed. So the secret I'm telling you guys is that you have to stay conscious of God often, every minute, every hour if you can. You know, if you have work, go work, but try to remember God. And when you go home, remember Him often so that you may succeed. And you know, God makes life easy for you. You only have to use your will to remember Him, and then maybe try to attain resources for yourself, and He does the rest. He has the power. He does everything. He'll do the rest for you. And it goes back to Friedrich Nietzsche. You know, the world is not the will to power. It's actually the will to God. So every human being has the will to God, has the willpower to remember God. And so this completes the philosophy I was just talking about. And you know, it's really simple as remaining conscious and fighting unconsciousness, you know. Like, the thing about pleasures is that they make you unconscious. Like, you've ever been to McDonald's, you ever watched someone eat McDonald's? Like, they're unconscious. Like, I know when I go to McDonald's, I eat a Big Mac. I eat the Big Mac, and then I'm like in another universe. And then, you know, I step out of that universe when the Big Mac's finished. And I'm like, oh, where am I? I was somewhere else. I was imagining being the person I want to be. So, you know, the thing is, you guys have to fight unconsciousness and remain consciousness. That's the trick. So secret number 3, guys, powerful mind switch. Stay focused, never give up. No, this wasn't right. Man, I didn't change this. I was supposed to change it. No, let's go. I'll just go back. How embarrassing for me. How embarrassing! Just a second. Sorry guys, bear with me. Where was the secrets to life? Yes, secret number 3. How to find love in a world full of narcissistic, ego gratification addicted women. Yeah, I changed this because I think this is what we all want, isn't it? That's what I wanted. Like, you know, even when I was depressed and I'd finished wanting to be a successful man, I thought, you know what? I just want a nice wife. I just want a simple, lovely woman girl that I can have sex with and that loves me, you know? I know secret number 2, I fucked that up, secret number 2. Oh well, sorry. Anyway, so, you know, secret number 3, you know, that's what, I just wanted that. After all my depression, I just thought, like, man, I'm 30 years old. I just want to, like, have a wife that loves me. Where is it? And, you know, I had problems with nofap. I had a wet dream problem. Like, I stopped fapping. Like, I didn't have a problem with fapping anymore. I was about 3-4 years into nofap. And I finished fapping. I had no desire to fap. But I still had a wet dream problem. Like, every 2 to 3 weeks, I'd wake up and I would cum my pants. And, you know, people, I would read on the nofap boards, like, people succeeding. But how? Like I didn't get it. Like, people having, like, 250 days of nofap. And, I was like, are these people counting their streaks without retaining semen? Like, they're just not fapping but still having wet dreams? Because I'm pretty sure the retaining semen, you got to retain your semen. Because every time I had a wet dream or I didn't retain my semen, I would flatline and I'd feel like shit the next day. Honestly, all my motivation went out the window. But then I was like, how do I stop wet dreams? I can't stop wet dreams. Like, I felt like I had no control over that. So, you know, I couldn't gain any consistency. I do nofap, I feel great, I have the superpowers, I feel confident, I go out there, do some of my goals, hit some of my goals, and then I have a wet dream, and then I would just feel like, I don't give a shit anymore. And, you know, I just thought, why God? Why do I try? Like, I just don't, it seems like out of my control. Like, I try, and I go nowhere. You know, I know God loves me. I know, like, I can feel God's love, and I trust His wisdom, but why is this difficult? Like, why is like life so hard? Especially when you're a single man. You know, it's just a mixture of horniness and loneliness and just no purpose or motivation, or just a lack of interest in anything. Especially if you're depressed, you're just like, oh, I guess I should make a business and then make money. And then you're like, oh, if I make the money, and then what? Like, I'm gonna be happy? Who gives a fuck? And you know, if you don't have a wife, it's like you know, if you don't have a wife or an income, you don't feel like a man. Like, you just don't feel like you're of any value. And you know, in Christianity, on a side note, you know, I was looking back to my days of Christianity, and I just remember one impactful lecture they talked to me about in my life in the church, is that they said there's 7 deadly sins, right? I don't know if you guys heard them, maybe you have, but there's greed, pride, lust, envy, sloth, wrath, gluttony, right? And you know, something I realize is that I do all these things every day, and it's like I just have a tendency for evil. Like, my soul is like gravitating towards evil. Like, it loves this shit. It just can't help but be weak and do all this stuff. Like, be greedy, be lustful, be prideful. And so I was just thinking, like, man, like, I'm just evil. Like, I have an evilness about me. And that's when it dawned on me that, you know, if you want to invoke change, you have to purify your thoughts constantly. Because, you know, going back to Sun Tzu, you have to know yourself, and you have to know the enemy. And the enemy is you. Guys, you have a tendency for evil. The unconscious self is trying to destroy you. Unconsciously, your soul has a tendency to try to be evil and destroy you. So, and even the Quran, it says, he who succeeds, who purifies it, and he who fails, instills it with corruption. So this is the ultimate test, is that, you know, you have some sort of evil about you, and you have to constantly try to be conscious about it. And, you know, the thing is that you can't always be mindful. You can't always be, like, living consciously. It's very difficult. Even if you try to be conscious, you just slip back into unconscious mode. It's only natural, especially if you haven't had any practice. So what you have to do in order to prevent, you have to forecast your evilness, and you have to ask for forgiveness constantly. You have to ask God to forgive you for your unconscious tendency for evil. And, you know, even when you look at the Quran, one of my favorite pieces in the Quran, it says at the end, it says, God does not intend to make difficulty for you. He only intends to purify you and complete his favor upon you so that you may be grateful. So, you know, like, God has the power to give you anything you want, guys. Like, if you ask God for anything, he can give it to you tomorrow. But you have to realize you have a tendency towards evil. And, you know, if he gives you something, you might just become more evil. You might just become more greedy. You might just become more lustful, more prideful. And so that's why he doesn't give you things. So in order to get what you want in life first and have God give it to you, you have to purify yourself. And, you know, ever since I did that, you know, every minute I would just ask God for forgiveness. I would just remember God, and I would just have days of just full remembrance of God and fully asking for forgiveness. And you know what? I never had a wet dream problem ever again. I went months. I used to go 3-4 months without a wet dream, and it was really, it really purified. It just goes to show, it's just evidence that you're purifying your mind. You know, when you can live. You can be more conscious throughout the day of God and your own unconscious self. So guys, that's it. You know, realize that you know, God loves you, but he doesn't help you until you purify yourself completely first. And you know, the results for me is that eventually I got married to a good Muslim girl. You know, a beautiful girl who loves me a lot. And I run my own online business now. And, you know, God did everything for me. He helped me become a man and achieve everything that I ever wanted. So, I want you guys to know that if God can help me, God can help you too. He will help you. And all you have to do is eliminate gratification. God will help you eliminate gratification, find love, become the strongest version of yourself, and find purposeful work that will give you an income. It's all possible. But it's not going to be easy. Quitting gratification is not overnight action. Like I said, you will forget about, even this web class, everything I taught you, you will forget about, because your main weakness, guys, is forgetfulness. And, you will go back, you will slip back into your unconscious realm. I know it. And so, you have to be aware of yourself. You have to be aware that, it's going to take some time for you in order to get to a high level of conscious of God and come out of the unconsciousness. So you're going to need someone to reinforce your new mindset, someone to inspire you through difficulty, someone to push you to take action frequency. That's why, guys, I have a very simple coaching package. What I do is 2 days a week, a call, Sunday night and Wednesday night, group call. What I also do is on Monday and Thursday, part of my religion in Islam is that we do a dry fast. What that means is that we don't have water, and we don't consume water, and we don't consume food for, can be about 12 hours. It's from sunrise to sunset. So, guys, so I'm not telling you to be Muslim, but you need to practice this ritual. It will help you overcome yourself, and that's what it did help me. And I actually wrote an article why fasting is so good. Eliminating water and food from your life, getting rid of your needs, guys, will help you get rid of your desires. It'll be a lot easier to quit smoking, quit video games if you're not getting your needs fulfilled. So fasting is one of the techniques that will help you eliminate gratification. And I'm going to be going through other methods to get closer to God, accessing His power. I go through some Quranic readings. You don't have to be Muslim again, but some of these readings are quite powerful. Powerful reminders of God, and just methods on achieving purity so that God can give to you. And the goal for this, guys, is just I really want to help you go out from chaos to order, because when I was young, my life was chaotic. It was a shit life. I just went from one emotion to the next, one situation to the next, and I never felt like any purpose or any meaning was behind it. And the biggest goal is to actually live a life of order and meaning. And that chaotic life is like sleeping in, feeling lethargic, indulging gratification, and just being single and horny and lonely is sad. It's a sad, chaotic, sad life. And the life of order that you want to do is waking up early, having structure, having self-discipline. Today I woke up, I prayed, I went to kickboxing. Now I'm doing this web class. After that, I will work on other things online. So I can finally a more structured person, and have that organization and willpower, which I've manifested from God. And the best part of all is finding a modest, pious spouse. Maybe some of you guys, you just want a girlfriend or something. I don't know if I can help you with that. I don't think God wants you to have girlfriends. I think God wants you to marry a woman. But I don't know. I hope that you find love as well, if that's what you want. So bonus number 1, guys, is that I haven't. In this web class, I haven't revealed everything to you. There is a missing piece of the puzzle. There is vital information that I'm going to be giving to the people that I coach. That's going to speed up the process. Of course, this information in the web class can help you do everything yourself. But if you do the coaching with me, I have more detailed information, and it's going to actually complete you much quicker. And so, guys, the coaching packages is it's Wednesday and Sunday, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. yeah, so it's the night before the fasting. So we fast Monday and Thursday. So the night before fasting, the day before fasting, I have a call with you. I get you ready for the fasting to do. And yeah. Bonus number 2, empower yourself by blogging. I have a course online. It's called Empower Yourself by Blogging. You know, one of the things that helped me as well is having a blog in order to write down and be more conscious of myself. And so just by writing can help you be more conscious. And if you're going to write, you want to write in a blog, because if you're blogging, you're creating a business at the same time. So it's actually 2 in 1. So I'm going to be giving that course to the first 30 people, Empower Yourself by Blogging. Check it out. That's online. And guys, you know, let me show you what to do next. So just for those who are interested in my coaching, just go to nogratification/coaching. Just go there now. Probably should have organized this at the beginning. Yeah. So it's just taking some of your time. Yeah, so these is the coaching packages. I have an hour call, a monthly package, a 6 month, and a 1 year package as well. So yeah, you're interested, guys, go check it out. I want to thank everyone for being on the web class. I think we're done. Yeah, the coaching is 2 group calls every week. Why do you need me? You need me because, guys, you're going to be unconscious. I hate to tell you this, but you will slip back into your unconscious self. You will be motivated now and think, I can do this. I can do everything myself. I have the ability to do this. And then you go out and you wake up. And you know what? You probably tell yourself, I will do this next week. That's one of the tricks of your brain, that you just say, yeah, I have the information now to succeed. I'll do it later. And, you know, you have to know that you are asleep. And, you know, if you guys just invest once in this and it worked, would it be worth it? You know, if you spend $2,000 for 1 year, and 1 year later you were the person you wanted to be, you had the business, you had a wife that loved you, you had love, you had money, you had a purpose, you had more structure in your life, you had meaning, would it be worth $2,000? Would it be worth it? So I was watching a video on the Ottoman Empire. It's pretty cool, huh? What am I doing? What am I doing? I lost where I'm at. So that's it, guys. I'm just gonna wrap it up there. Thank you for being on the class. I also have a money back guarantee. You know, if you guys hop on any of the 6 month or 12 month packages, if you guys get that and your life doesn't change in any way, I'll give you your money back. But I'm so certain that it will help you. So guys, go to nogratification.com/coaching. For anyone interested in the coaching packages, you can hit me up on Instagram as well if you have any questions. That's it. Sayonara. Thanks for being part of the class. Nice to meet you. I hope you guys succeed and get what you want from life. I really do. Ciao.